जयो गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना। यमुनतीरावनचारी। यमुनतीरावनचारी। जयो राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जयो राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जयो प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा, प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा। प्रभुपाद 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 जय प्रभुपाद। Nitaya Gaura Pramanande. Reading from the Nectar of Instruction, text 2. Atyahara prayasascha. Atyahara prayasascha. Prajalpo niyamagraham. Prajalpo niyamagraha. Jana sangasya laulyam cha. Jana sangasya laulyam cha. Sarvir bhaktir vinasyate. Sarvir bhaktir vinasyate. Atyahara prayasascha. Prajalpo niyamagraham. Jana sangasya laulyam cha. Sarvir bhaktir vinasyate. Atyahara prayasascha. Prajalpo niyamagraham. Jana sangasya laulyam cha. Sarvir bhaktir vinasyate. Atiyahara, overeating or too much collecting. Prayasa, over-endeavoring. Cha, and Prajalpa, idle talking. Niyama, rules and regulations. Agraha, too much attachment. Agraha, too much neglect of. Jana Sangha, association with worldly minded persons. Cha, and Laulyam, hardened longing or greed. Cha, and Sadbhe, by these six. Bhakti, devotional service. Vinasyati, is destroyed. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. One's devotional service is spoiled when it becomes too entangled in the following six activities: eating more than necessary or collecting more funds than required, over-endeavoring for mundane things that are very difficult to obtain, talking unnecessarily about mundane subject matters, practicing the scriptural rules and regulation only for the sake of following them and not for the sake of spiritual advancement, or rejecting the rules and regulation of the scriptures and working independently or whimsically. Number 5, associating with worldly minded persons who are not interested in Krishna consciousness. And 6, being greedy for mundane achievement. Human life is meant for plain living and high thinking. Since all conditioned living beings are under the control of the Lord's third energy, this material world is designed so that one is obliged to work. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has 3 primary energies or potencies. The first is called the Antaranga Sakti, or the internal potency. The second is called the Tatata Sakti, or the marginal potency. The third is called the Bahiranga Sakti, or the external potency. The living entities constitute the marginal potency, and they are situated between the internal and external potencies, being subordinate as eternal servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Jivatma, or atomic living entities, must remain under the control of either the internal or external potency. When they are under the control of the internal potency, they display their natural constitutional activities, namely constant engagement in devotional service of the Lord. This is stated in the Bhagavad Gita 9:13. Mahatmanastu mamparda daivim prakartim asrita bhajanti ananya manaso gyatva bhutadim avyayam. O son of Prita, those who are not deluded, the great souls are under the protection of the divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible. The word Mahatma refers to those who are broad-minded, not cripple-minded. Cripple-minded persons always engage in satisfying their senses, sometimes expand their activities in order to do good for others through some ism like nationalism, humanitarianism and altruism. They may reject personal sense gratification for the sense gratification of others, like the members of the family, community or society, either national or international. Actually, all these activities are extended sense gratification from personal to communal to social. These activities may all be very good from the material point of view, but they have no spiritual value. The basis of such activities is sense gratification, either personal or extended. Only when a person gratifies the senses of the Supreme Lord can he be called a Mahatma or broad-minded person. In the above quoted verse from the Bhagavad Gita, the words Daivim Prakartim refers to the control of the internal potency or pleasure potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This pleasure potency is manifested as Srimati Radharani or expansion Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune. When the individual jiva souls are under the control of the internal energy, their only engagement is the satisfaction of Krishna or Vishnu. This is the position of the Mahatma. If one is not a Mahatma, he is Duratma, a cripple-minded person. Such mentality, crippled Duratmas, are just under the control of the Lord's external potency, Mahamaya. Indeed, all living entities within this material world are under the control of Mahamaya, whose business is to subject them to the influence of the threefold miseries, Adi Daivika Klesa, suffering caused by the demigods, such as droughts, earthquakes and storms. Adi Bhautika Klesa, suffering caused by other living entities like insects or enemies. And Adhyatmika Klesa, suffering caused by one's own body and mind, such as physical, mental infirmities. Daiva Bhutatma Hetava, the conditioned soul subjected to these three miseries by control of the external energy suffer various difficulties. The main problem confronting the conditioned souls is the repetition of birth, old age, disease and death. The material world, one has to work for the maintenance of the body and soul. But how can one perform such work is a way that is favorable for the execution of Krishna consciousness. Everyone requires possessions such as food, grains, clothing, money and other things necessary for the maintenance of the body, but one should not collect more than necessary for his actual basic needs. If this natural principle is followed, there will be no difficulty in maintaining the body. According to the nature's arrangement, living entities lower on the evolutionary scale do not eat or collect more than necessary. Consequently, in the animal kingdom, there is generally no economic problem or scarcity of necessities. If a bag of rice is placed in a public place, birds will come and eat a few grains and go away. A human being, however, will take away the whole bag. He will eat all his stomach and hold and then try to keep the rest in storage. According to the scriptures, this collecting of more than necessary atyahara is prohibited. Now the entire world is suffering because of it. Collecting and eating more than necessary also causes prayasa or unnecessary endeavor. By God's arrangement, anyone in any part of the world can live very peacefully if he has some land and milk cow. There is no need for man to move from one place to another to earn a livelihood, for one can produce food grains locally and get milk from cows. That can solve all economic problems. Fortunately, man has been given higher intelligence for the cultivation of Krishna consciousness or understanding of God, one's relationship with Him, an ultimate goal of life, love of God. Unfortunately, so-called civilized man, not caring for God realization, utilizes his intelligence for getting more than necessary and simply eating to satisfy the tongue. By God's arrangement, there is sufficient scope for the production of milk and grains for human beings all over the world. But instead of using their higher intelligence to cultivate God's consciousness, so-called intelligent men misuse their intelligence to produce many unnecessary and unwanted things. Thus, factories, slaughterhouses, brothels, and liquor shops are open. If people are advised not to collect too many goods, eat too much, or work unnecessarily to possess artificial amenities, they think they are being advised to return to the primitive way of life. Generally, people do not like to accept plain living and high thinking. That is the unfortunate position. Human life is meant for God realization, and the human being is given higher intelligence for this purpose. Those who believe that this higher intelligence is meant to attain a higher state should follow the instruction of the Vedic literatures. By taking such instruction from higher authorities, one can actually become situated in perfect knowledge and give real meaning to life. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 2, Text 9, Sri Sutta Goswami describes the proper human dharma in this way. Dharmasya hyapavargasya nartho ridaya pakalpate nartasya dharmakantasya kamalabhaya ismrita. All occupational engagement dharma are certainly meant for ultimate liberation. They should never be performed for material gain. Furthermore, one who is engaged in the ultimate occupational service dharma should never use material gain to cultivate sense gratification. The first step in human civilization consists of occupational engagements performed according to the scriptural injunctions. The higher intelligence of human beings should be trained to understand basic dharma. In human society, there are various religious conceptions characterized as Hindu, Christian, Hebrew, Mohammedan, Buddhist, and so on. For without religion, human society is no better than animal society. As stated above, dharmasya iha apavargasya narto ritaya pakalpate. Religion is meant for attaining emancipation, not for getting bread. Sometimes human society manufactures a system of so-called religious aimed at material advancement, but that is far from the purpose of true dharma. Religion entails understanding the laws of God, because the proper executions of these laws ultimately leads one out of material entanglement. That is the true purpose of religion. Unfortunately, people accept religion for material prosperity because of adyahara, or an excessive desire for such prosperity. True religion, however, instructs people to be satisfied with the bare necessities of life while cultivating Krishna consciousness. Even though we require economic development, true religion allows it only for supplying the bare necessities of existence. Jivasya tadva jigyasa. The real purpose of life is to inquire about the absolute truth. Our endeavor, prayasa, is not to inquire about the absolute truth. We will simply increase our endeavor to satisfy our artificial needs. A spiritual aspirant should avoid mundane endeavor. Another impediment in prajalpa, unnecessary talking. When we mix with a few friends, we immediately begin unnecessary talking, sounding just like a croaking toads. If we must talk, we should talk about the Krishna conscious movement. Those outside of the Krishna consciousness movement are interested in reading heaps of newspapers, magazines and novels, solving crossword puzzles and doing many other nonsensical things. In this fashion, people simply waste their valuable time and energy. In the Western countries, old men retired from active life play cards, fish, watch television and debate about useless socio-political schemes. All these and other frivolous activities are included in the prajalpa category. Intelligent person interested in Krishna consciousness should never take part in such activities. Jana Sangha refers to associating with a person not interested in Krishna consciousness. Srila Narottam Das Thakur has therefore advised us to live only in the association of Krishna conscious devotee, Bhakta Sanevasa. One should always engage in the service of the Lord in the association of the Lord's devotees. Association with those engaged in a similar line of business is very conducive to advancement in that business. Consequently, materialist persons form various associations and clubs to enhance their endeavors. For example, in the business world, we find such institutions are the Stock Exchange and Chamber of Commerce. Similarly, we have established the International Society for Krishna Consciousness to give people an opportunity to associate with those who have not forgotten Krishna. The spiritual association offered by our ISKCON movement is increasing day by day. Many people from different parts of the world are joining this society to awaken their dormant Krishna consciousness. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes in his Anuvriti commentary that too much endeavor to acquire knowledge on the part of mental speculation or dry philosophers falls within the category of atyahara, collecting more than needed. According to Srimad Bhagavatam, the endeavor of philosophical speculations, speculators to have written volumes of books on dry philosophy devoid of Krishna consciousness is entirely futile. The work of karmis who write volumes of books on economic development also falls within the category of atyahara. Similarly, those who have no desire for Krishna consciousness, who are simply interested in possessing more and more material things, either in the shape of scientific knowledge or monetary gain, are all included under the control of atyahara. Karmis labor to accumulate more and more money for future generation only because they do not know their future position. Interested only in getting more and more money for their sons and grandsons, such foolish persons do not even know what their position is going to be in the next life. There are many incidents that illustrate this point. Once a great karmi accumulated a vast fortune for his sons and grandsons, but later, according to his karma, he took his birth in a cobbler's house located near the building which his previous life he had constructed for his children. It is so happened that when this very cobbler came to his former house, his former sons and grandsons beat him with shoes. Unless the karmis and jnanis become interested in Krishna consciousness, they will simply continue to waste their life in fruitless activities. Accepting some of the scriptural rules and regulations for immediate benefit as utilization advocate is called niyama agraha, and neglecting the rules and regulations of the sastras which are meant for spiritual development is called niyama agraha. The word agraha means eagerness to accept, and agraha means failure to accept. By the addition of those two words to the word niyama, rules and regulation, the word niyamagraha is formed. Thus niyamagraha has a twofold meaning that is understood according to the particular combination of words. Those interested in Krishna consciousness should not be eager to accept rules and regulations for economic development, yet they should very faithfully accept scriptural rules and regulations for the advancement of Krishna consciousness. They should strictly follow the regulatory principle by avoiding illicit sex, meat eating, gambling and intoxication. One should also avoid association with Mayavadis who simply blaspheme Vaishnava devotees, Bhakti kamis who are interested in material happiness, Bhakti kamis who desire liberation by merging into the existence of the formless absolute Brahman, and Siddhi kamis who desire the perfection of mystic yoga practice, are classified as atyahara. To associate with such person is not all desirable. Desires to expand the mind by perfecting mystic yoga, merging into the existence of Brahman, attaining whimsical material prosperity are all included within the category of greed, laulya. All attempts to acquire such material benefits or so-called spiritual advancement are impediments on the path of Krishna consciousness. Modern warfare waged between capitalists and communists is due to their avoiding the advice of Sri Rupa Goswami regarding atyahara. Modern capitalists accumulate more wealth than necessary, and the communists, envious of their prosperity, want to nationalize all wealth and prosperity. Unfortunately, the communists do not know how to solve the problem of wealth and its distribution. Consequently, when the wealth of the capitalists falls into the hands of the communists, no solution results. Opposed to these two philosophies, the Krishna conscious ideology states that all wealth belongs to Krishna. Thus, unless all wealth comes under the administration of Krishna, there can be no solution to the economic problem of mankind. Nothing can be solved by placing wealth in the hands of the communists or the capitalists. If $100 bill is lying on the street, someone may pick it up and put it in his pocket. Such a man is not honest. Another man may see the money and decided to let it remain there, thinking that he should not touch another's property. Although the second man does not steal the money for his own purposes, he is unaware of its proper use. The third man who sees the $100 bill may pick it up, find the man who lost it and deliver it to him. This man does not steal the money to spend for himself, nor does he neglect it and let it lie in this street. By taking it and delivering it to the man who has lost it, this man is both honest and wise. Simply transferring wealth from the capitalist to the communist cannot solve the problem of modern politics, for it has been demonstrated that when a communist gets money, he uses it for his own sense gratification. The wealth for the world actually belongs to Krishna, and every living entity, man and animal, has the birthright to use God's property for his maintenance. When one takes more than his maintenance requires, but he a capitalist or communist is a thief, and such is liable to be punished by the laws of nature. The wealth of the world should be used for the welfare of living entities, for that is the plan of Mother Nature. Everyone has the right to live by utilizing the wealth of the Lord. When people learn the art of scientifically utilizing the Lord's property, they will no longer encroach upon the another's right. Then an ideal society can be formed. The basic principle for such spiritual society stated in the first mantra of Sri Isopanishad. Isa vasyamidam sarvam yatkincha jagatya jagam tena tyaktena bunjitaha magriyada kasya siddhanam. Everything animate or inanimate that is within the universe is controlled and owned by the Lord. One should therefore accept only those things necessary for himself which are set aside as his quota, and should not accept other things, knowing well to whom they belong. Krishna conscious devotee know very well that this material world is designed by the complete arrangement of the Lord to fulfill all necessities of life for all living beings without their having to encroach upon the life or rights of one another. This complete arrangement affords the proper quota of wealth for everyone according to his real needs, and thus everyone may live peacefully according to the particular principle of plain living and high thinking. Unfortunately, materialists who have neither faith in the plan of God nor any aspiration of high spiritual development misuse their God-given intelligence only to augment their material possession. They devise many systems such as capitalism and materialistic communism to advance their material possession. They are not interested in the laws of God or in the higher goal, always anxious to fulfill their unlimited desires for sense gratification. They are conspicuous by their ability to exploit their fellow living beings. When human society gives up these elementary faults enumerated by Srila Rupa Goswami, Atyahara, etc., all enmity will cease between man and animals, capitalists and communists and so forth. In addition, all problems of economic or political maladjustment and instability will be solved. This pure consciousness is awakened by the proper spiritual education and practice offered scientifically by the Krishna consciousness movement. This Krishna consciousness movement offers a spiritual community that can bring about peaceful condition in the world. Every intelligent man should purify his consciousness and rid himself of the above mentioned 6 hindrances to devotional services by taking wholehearted shelter of Krishna conscious movement. Hare Krishna. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravane Pracharane Nirvasesa Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarane Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadharo Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Atyahara prayascha prajalpo nimagraha jana sangha chalaulyam cha sadbir bhakti vinasyati. One's devotional service is spoiled when it becomes too entangled in the following 6 activities: eating more than necessary or collecting more funds than required, over endeavoring for mundane things that are very difficult to obtain, talking unnecessarily about mundane subject matters, practicing the scriptural rules and regulation only for the sake of following them and not for the sake of spiritual advancement, or rejecting the rules and regulation of the scriptures and working independently or whimsically, associating with worldly minded persons who are not interested in Krishna consciousness, and being greedy for mundane achievements. So here, a lot of things been explained by Prabhupada, how the human society should not be wasting their time too much into the so-called material advancement. Rather, they should be utilizing their time and energy in advancement of Krishna consciousness. That will solve the entire problem of the human society. Unfortunately, due to their uncontrolled senses, somewhere or other the human being have become slave to their own sense gratification. Even though they know certain things are not very good in their life, but still they are not able to stop those activities due to their uncontrolled senses. But unfortunately, they do not know that the origin of this problem of human life is that simply they have forgotten Krishna. So much of desires has been explained here, but the karma is the perverted reflection of the prema. Originally, we had so much of love for Krishna, but unfortunately, by coming in contact with this material atmosphere, somewhere or other that eternal prem within the living entities toward Krishna is transformed to be a lust. Prabhupada explained how a milk by the touch of an acid is become a curd. In the similar way, originally we did not have any of this problem been said in this verse, but somewhere or other coming to the material world, we have adopted all these unnecessary things in our life. Prabhupada writes here is all simply a waste of time because it's not going to help anybody at the time of death. Prabhupada had one of the purport in some of our book. Prabhupada says at the present moment people want to become a good lawyer, they want to become a good doctor, they want to become a good engineer, and they want to become a good scientist. It said, what is the point you want to become good scientist, good lawyer, and so on? And next life you become a dogs and cats, what is the use of your all being a good in this and that? So in this way, the real purpose of human life has been forgotten. The real purpose is that somewhere or other we have forgotten Krishna, we have misused our minute independence, and we have chosen to come to this world, and this world we are undergoing so much of test and tribulation. Somewhere or other we are not understanding that the life is temporary in this world. Mamupetya punarjanma dukalayam asasvatam napnuvanti mahatmanaha samsiddhim paramam gatam. Krishna explains in the chapter 8, text 15 onward, that the material world is full of miseries and is a temporary place. Somewhere or other, whichever way we try to adjust the material situation here, the life is going to be always, with all kinds of tests and tribulation. Only we have forgotten that we are going through all kinds of difficulties. There was a There was a man, he went to the doctor for medical checkup, and the doctor told him, you got good news and bad news. So which news you wanted to hear first? The man said, please tell me what is the bad news. He said, the bad news is that you have got cancer, you will live for another 10 months, and you will die after that. That's bad news. And the man asked the doctor, then what is the good news? The doctor said the good news is that along with this problem of cancer, you have got another problem called Alzheimer's, the loss of memory, that you'll forget that you got cancer. That is good news. We got too many things happening in our life, we don't even know what is our problem. Too many problems. Don't even, not even able to say what is our problem. There are too many problems, In this way that, because of forgetfulness of Krishna, somewhere or other, we've been put into this condition. Only way we have to do is that Prabhupada explained that somewhere or other you have to re-establish the path of dharma in yourself. Prabhupada quoted from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 2, Text 7, Dharmasya apavargasya nato ridaya pakalpate natasya dharma kantasya kamalabhaya ismrita. The path of dharma will take a human society to a higher level of consciousness. Dharma swanisita pumsam visvakseno kadasya paliyet erimbratim sramma evayi kevalam. In the Canto 1, Chapter 2, Text 9, Krishna explains that, a person, he can perform so many different kinds of activities, but if that activities are not connected in Krishna consciousness, it is simply useless labor. Beautifully, the Shastra said, Dhanam cha bhaumyam, pasive cha goshal. It says that when a person accumulates wealth, when he keeps the money, that money in some place, let's say you keep the money in the bank. What is the bank in Germany? Bank. What name of the bank? You got the one? Deutsche Bank. Let's say you keep the money in the Deutsche Bank and you die. The money is still in the Deutsche Bank, but you're gone, finished, And you keep the cows, tie the cow somewhere, then you leave the body, the cow will be there, but you won't be there. Beautifully, the Shastra says when you die, your wife, may come up to the, at the entrance door. Maybe some of your relative friends may come to the graveyard, and even your own body going to be burned to ashes, and even your own body is not going to follow with you. So it says only thing is going to go with you is the dharma, the connection you have practiced with Krishna consciousness. The dharma you practice in your life, that will follow you into a next life. So the goal of human life is been given not to become a doctor, not to become a scientist, not to become, we got too many doctors, too many scientists, world got too many problems, more doctors coming, more scientists coming, everywhere problems are increasing more and more and more and more. Somewhere or other people do not understand that human life is meant for spiritual advancement. The goal of human life is called Purusartha Vidhi. Purusartha Vidhi means there are 4 things becomes the goal of human life: dharma, artha, kama, moksha. And here Prabhupada writes that there is a need for human society to have a basic need in their life. There is a need of food grains in their life. There is a need of clothing. There is a need of money. There is a need of basic thing in human society, but that should not become the goal of human society. The human society, anyway in the scripture, nowhere it is against, the sense gratification or economic development. But it says that the goal of human life is dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Dharma is the principle, the law of God is given to the human society for the peaceful and happy living. With that dharma, now you accumulate, you earn your artha, economic development. With your economic development, you enjoy the economic development along with the principle of dharma, and finally a day will come, you will be tired of this material world. That will be a frustration in your life, because the frustration is already born within you. It is called a sthayi bhava. In the permanent emotion, there is asya, hadbhuta, virya, karuna, raudra, Bibhatsaka, Bhayanuka, that is, that Bibhitsika is the frustration, is also born together with you. It's not going to be taken away from you, because at one point in your life, you must go back to Krishna. To go back to Krishna, you must become frustrated of the Germany. If you're not frustrated, you still love Germany, how are you going to plan to go back to Krishna? So frustration, it is there. So the time will come, then you know how to use the dharma, to utilize the dharma to get a liberation. So for that reason, dharma is their principle of religion. According to the Manu, he has given 20 principles as dharma. Anybody coming to the temple, going to the temple, the secondary subject matter, whether you join any organization, you become a Christian, a Hindu, a Muslim, whatever, it's all secondary subject matter. The primary subject matter, do you follow the law of God or not? That is the primary subject matter. You can remain in your own house, you can remain in any organization, any temple, provided that you know what is the principle of dharma and you are following the principle of dharma. So in this way, Krishna says in the 4th chapter 7, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyudanam adharmasya tadatmanam sujamyaham. Whenever and wherever there are decline in religious practice, I will come to the world. Paritranaya sadhunam vinasaya cha duskritam dharma samsapanartaya sambhavami yuge yuge. To protect the devotees, to kill the demon, and to re-establish the principle of dharma. In the 4th chapter, text 9, Krishna says, Janma karma chame divyam ivam yoveti tadvataha tyakum dehum punarjanma naiti mamiti soharjuna. Anybody understands my true appearance in this world and my activities, upon giving up this body, they will return to my spiritual abode. One who have come to my spiritual abode, never come back again to this miserable German world. Vitaraga bhayakroda manmayamam upasrita bahavo jnana tapasa Putamadbhavam agata. In the chapter 4, text 10, Krishna says, there are many people in the past, Arjun, they have reached my abode by giving up the attachment to the material world, by giving up the fear in the material world, and by giving up the anger in the material world. So we now must understand what are the 20 principles that I should follow. You stay in the Hare Krishna temple, you don't follow, you cannot go back to Krishna. You go to Islam, you convert yourself to become a Christian, you don't follow these 20 principles, you cannot go back. Organization and temples are a wonderful platform for us to revive that, dharma which we have lost in Krishna. And Manu says that the 20 principles, number 1 is ahimsa, free of violence of any kind. There are 3 kinds of violences are there. One in the mind, one is in your speech, another one is in your physical body. So one should become free from any kinds of violence, is the first principle of dharma. And the second principle is the satyam, one should be always very honest and truthful. The third is asteyam, one should not eager for another people's property. And the fourth is brahmacharya, control of the 5 senses, the knowledge acquiring senses, the ear, the eyes, the nose, the tongue, and the skin. A person can control the 5 knowledge acquiring senses is in the brahmacharya platform. And number 5 is sama, forgiveness. And number 6 is dhriti, determination. Even it is not easy to follow the principle of dharma, but one should be determined to follow the principle of dharma. Number 7 is daya, kind. One should be very kind to himself and also to the other living being. One should think, let me be happy in my life, and let also be happy, others be happy in their life. So 7th is daya. The 8th is midhara, be grateful that Lord is providing so many things for our survival in this world. We should become grateful to the assistance we are getting from the Lord. And the 9th is the arjavam, simplicity, being simple. Simplicity doesn't mean That you got a lot of money, you give away, you got a big house, you want to give away the big house, you want to go to this small house. Simplicity is that whatever you have got in your life, whether big house, a small house, a big car or small car, be happy with what you have in your life. And the 10th is Saucham, cleanliness. Keep yourself inside and outside clean. You should not keep something, hidden inside and talk something different outside. People say inside you are like a Caesar, in your speech you are like, lotus. So that doesn't work in Krishna consciousness. So there is cleanliness on the 10th principle of Dharma. The 11th is the Arihi, always, be humble and make in your life. The 12th principle is Santosham, always try to be happy in your life. The 13th is that Astikyam, that have a faith in the path of Dharma, whether you understand or do not understand. You must have a faith that, at the end of my journey of my life, Dharma will deliver me from the clutches of repeated birth and death. And number 14 is that Dhanam, giving charity. It's not as you like, you want to give the donation. The Manu says that out of $6 you earn in your life, $1 belongs to Krishna. So if you're earning $1,000 and monthly, you must give $160 to Krishna. If you're earning $10,000, you give $1,600, not as you like. Dharma is not been practiced as we like. There was a three fellow, they're going to the temple, they were talking how each other give the donation. One fellow says, when I get my monthly salary, I draw a very small circle and then I stand inside of the circle and then I throw my money on top, whatever, falls within that circle, I give as a donation, but the circle is very small. No money falls into the circle. He said, that's how he gives the donation. Another friend said, I make the bigger circle and I stand in the, made of the circle, and whatever money, falls, outside the circle, that should be given to Krishna. So if the circle is too big, money doesn't fall, outside the circle. And another fellow says, the way I donate is that, I throw the money, whatever stays up there, that belongs to Krishna. So in this way, people have become very intelligent way to perform. So, but the Sastra, Manu says, you earn $6, it's all karma coming from different people's ends, from the butcher to killer to everybody. So you have to purify whatever you have got in your hand, use $1 to purify your $5. So the devotee must understand the 14th principle of Dharma is that he should, do charity. And the 15th principle of Dharma, Siddhanta Sravanam, when you get the opportunity, come and sit in the association of the devotees and learn the message of Dharma. The 16th principle of Dharma is that, Isvara Pujanam, every day you do some puja for Lord Krishna in your house. The 17th principle is called Mati. Mati means before you decide to do anything in your life, if you're making a major decision, think at least 10 times. You must think, what will be the consequence, after this decision. Let's say if you wanted to get married, think seriously how the marriage life is going to be. That means, your freedom will be taken away from you. Your independence will be taken away from you. You have to understand that, you have to make lots of adjustment in your life. So it comes with, certain responsibility, and if you're ready for that kind of marriage life, you go into the agreement, and after the agreement, you cannot say, I don't like it, I want to come out. It's not possible. So, consequently, you must understand. So there is Mati, the 17th principle that, before you decide anything. Just like some people, they send their children to go and do medicine, after 2 years, spend so much money, then he tells his father, I don't like to do medicine, I want to become a lawyer. By the time half of the money is already lost, So the 17th principle is Mati, and the 18th principle is Japa. Every day you chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The 19th principle is tapa, austerity, that you may like a lot of things in your life, but it may go against the path of principle of dharma. Krishna may not like it. You like to smoke cigarette, but Krishna don't like to smoke cigarette. You may like KFC, McDonald's, but Krishna don't like it. So whichever is not liked by Krishna, you must able to give up. There is austerity, you must take it in your life. The 20th principle is vrita. There are a lot of fasting things in our Krishna consciousness. There is Ekadasi vrita is there. There is Kartik vrita is there. Very soon there will be Narsingha Chaturdasi, devotee will be fasting. So a lot of fastings are there. One should follow this procedure of 20 principle of dharma. Human life is given, Prabhupada says here, they have been given, not to go, try to how to become more better animal. Prabhupada says, Ahara Nidra by Maitunam cha Samanya Mitir Pasabir Naranam Dharme Iteso Avikka Viseso Dharmena Yena Pasabir Saman. Eating, sleeping, mating and defending are very common, is the same with the animal life. But dharma, there's one thing differentiate between animal and human being is that dharma, the principle of religion, it can be read, it can be heard, it can be understood by human being, and it can be applied into their life. That solves their entire human problem of birth, old age, disease and death. Prabhupada also writes, people not knowing, what will be the consequence, you're working so hard, you're breaking all the rules here, they don't even know that, they're going to take birth in next life. And people do not understand that, all your own enemies and friends are born in the same family. Your enemy and friends are not, in outside, they're born in your same family. Whatever karma has not been finished in the previous life, this life they come, and they come husband and wife. Sometimes there are husband and wife are very loving, very honest, very good. But sometimes there are husband and wife, they are trying to kill each other, they abuse each other. A lot of problems are there because why? Those were enemies from the previous life, they become a husband and wife. In this life, they fight among each other, trying to kill each other. And those were friends from the previous life, they become very good, friend. Similarly, it goes to the children. There are children who are very obedient to the parents. There are children who become a very great problem to the parents. All the enemies of friends, enemies are born in the same family. So people do not understand what is the consequence. Here Prabhupada mentioned a cobbler, he was, doing well in previous life. And he built a beautiful, big bungalow house and left it for the children. And next birth, he is born in an opposite house. He became a cobbler. Then he been invited by the children to come and, stitch their shoes. And he was, doing very slow work because it's a big bungalow with air condition, everything. So he was taking his time to enjoy a little bit of air condition, doing his small job, very slowly. And the children, from their own children, they beat him up with the shoe. So you may be beaten up, by your own children. But there's a story in the Puranas, there was a man, farmer. A farmer, he left some, treasure in the house, buried. He did not inform the children. And next life he was born as a snake in the same, house. He was guiding the treasure where he has buried. And the children, one day they found the snake was there. They killed the snake. So we may get, it's not worth, spending your time and energy for this ungrateful human society. They're very ungrateful, true or not. The own children, you go into a lot of houses in the family, The children's room you go in, they got all kinds of photos there. Some got Michael Jackson photo, some got, Madonna, half-naked photos, And for the children, they are the model for them, the Michael Jackson, the fellow become a model, the Madonna, this side become a model. And none of the children putting their parents' picture, showing that they are the model. In fact, the parents have spent, all their time and energy, they sacrifice so much for the, betterment of the children. They provide them clothing, provide them food, provide them education, but none of the children wanted to keep a picture of father and mother. They go to somebody who is, not worth, even putting it into a toilet, use it as a toilet paper. But somewhere or other, Society has become very ungrateful. Day by day, things are becoming more worse. There was a time, the parents were enjoying to have many children. Today, even a rich man, he is quite worried even with one children. So that is how the thing has become very worse in the material world. But here, by avoiding such certain elements which is not favorable for Krishna consciousness, we should avoid that. And very beautifully it's been said, anukulyasya sankalpa pratikulyasya varjanam, that there are 6 things to be practiced when you surrender to Krishna. Whatever favorable for bhakti, you should take it in your life. Whatever unfavorable, you should reject. And you should see that Krishna is your ultimate protector. Number 4, you must understand Krishna is your ultimate maintainer. And number 5, you must submit yourself to Krishna and surrender, total surrender. And number 6, always remain as meek and humble in your life. So in this way, by following the principle of divisions of surrender, you can do very well in your Krishna consciousness. And definitely Krishna will help you to overcome whatever unfavorable situations are coming along in our life. So I'll stop here. Arati is going on. So anybody got any questions, any comments here? Yeah. Yeah, Prabhu, yeah.
The story in the Purana which you were repeating yourself also telling.
Yeah.
A rich man in his next life became a cobbler.
Yeah.
How did the Puranas follow up to life? Any idea? How do they know that in the previous life he was the owner, next life he becomes a cobbler?
Yeah.
How
No, the Puranas is the word of God. This is the essence of coming from the Veda. Veda is not different from the Lord Himself. So there is no way you can trace back how this thing has happened, because we are beyond. It's a time that it has happened very, very long ago, and because we are changing our body all the time, so we don't have the remembrance of our so many things happen from the previous life. So there are 3 ways to take evidence. That is called pradyaksha. So you have to understand that either the best way is that that sastra pramanam, that the Vedic authorities become your pramanam, become the evidence, authority in your life.
Prabhupada also mentions that one astrologer explained that Nehru.
Yeah, become a dog.
In
Sweden. Oh, I heard, Sweden is the most happiest country in the world. Maybe the dog is quite happy there. I do not know. I went to 3 astrology in India. See, when we are born in a Hindu family, normally they call, astrologer to write, our horoscope. So my horoscope is written up to the age of 20 years old. There is nothing after that. I don't have any, it's not written after 20th. So after 20th, I joined Hare Krishna movement. I was in the Hare Krishna movement. Then I went to, why? Because one of the devotee left his body in Malaysia about 10 years ago, and he was less than 40 years old. And, he went to South India. Then, there is another one called Nadi Jodhidam, that, they can, once you go there, they can open up your history, previous, who's your father, they can mention your father's name, your grandfather, and how many. So then he went to this, astrologer. Then he told him that, you will die, you will die, this time, of the month, He was very correct, because the devotee left his body, what was mentioned, by the, astrologer. So I went to astrologer in South India, 3 astrologers. They told me, 3 of them more or less, they told me that I will leave my body at the age of 82, between October and March of during my age 82. All of them told me the same thing. And 15 years ago, I was diagnosed with cancer. A doctor said I will die. So I told doctor I will not die. He said, how come? He said, because I'm going to die only 82 years old. And doctor said, no, you have to sign the document because you're 50-50 chance, No, I said, I don't believe you, I will not die, don't worry, And the devotee who died, he came to see me in the hospital, the devotee, And he came to see me, he said, I'm very sad, you are undergoing this difficulty, So I told him, we are reading Prabhupada books, same books. So Prabhupada said, anybody can die at any time. So I told him, maybe you may die before me. And after 2 months he died, I'm still around. There are about 7 or 8 people, they came to see me. All were very pity of me. But all of them are died, I'm still around. So I will not die. So what he said, the astrology, if you go to the right person who are not making business out of that, he may predict. Like the Prabhupada, coming to the Western world, building 108 temples, all been predicted earlier. You go to the right people, they can predict, because it's only about, the 9 planets, which, we call, Sun, Moon, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, Saturn and Rahu, Ketu. These are the planets that are controlling your life, and they calculate, accordingly how the planets are moves around, according to time of your birth, and all those things. So it is true, if you go to the right people, because the Vedas, Jyotisha, the astrology is, is one of the Veda Anga, 6 Anga. Like the Veda is, divided into 4, Rig Veda, Sama Veda, Yajur Veda, Adhur Veda, then further divided into, Samhita, Brahmana, Aranyaka, Upanishad. From there, they are divided into 6 Veda Anga. That is, Kalpa, Siksha, Vyakarana, Nirukti, Chanda, and Jyotisha. Jyotisha is one of the Veda. Veda is not different from Krishna himself. So that is true. If somebody can, you go, they can tell you in a previous life. Somebody was telling I was in your place, Hamburg, your Hamburg. The devotee was, driving me to Prabhupada's, he told me, he knows a little bit of all those things. He studied, He said he was told by the, this thing, the previous life, he was a brahmachari, and he offended, so many devotees. Now he has to be born and married and then struggle again. Vishwabhanti, and normally when they get married, in the Hindu society, normally they go and see the compatibility, whether they can get along. Of course, nowadays even, some of these things are not really accurate, because, see, Vedas have been coming from the Lord himself for the ultimate benefit of the human society, but somebody has taken it and they do business out of that, so the quality is no more there. Otherwise, it's true. It's true. You go to the right person, they can tell you. I went with one of the devotees, member's son in South India. So they were telling, the son also came because he did some exam there. They were telling, Maharaj, you tell, this, my son is not getting married. He said, don't want to get married at all, So when we were walking, we saw an astrologer, there was some signboard there. We saw him, the astrologer said, no, this guy in 2 months' time will get married. And son was telling, I don't believe, But sure enough, 2 months' time he was married, Anything else?
Many people meet each other, many marriages, come together in the temple.
Yeah.
In the kitchen.
Yeah. Prabhupada said, man is good, woman is good. Combination become bad. They by themselves, everybody is very good. The moment wanted to come together, that's where the problem starts. Because they do not understand the purpose of marriage life. Even you go and talk to a lot of married people around, they do not even know why they married. They give some other we were in love, that's why I married. My parents told me to get married, Many do not know the real purpose why they should get married. In first point,
Very difficult nowadays
Yeah, Prabhuji. You're married or not married? No, this boy. No, when you're talking about married life, immediately raise his hand. I met one of the boy, in one of the center in Germany, this fella, he told me that, I asked him, how old are you? He said, 40 plus. So I said, are you married? Oh, that's the problem, Maharaj, I'm not married, I'm not getting any girl to get married. I said, there are so many married, every temple I go, so many girls are there, why you're not getting married? And later on I come to know that, he's looking for somebody more perfect for him. See, there was a man, very rich man, he had good job, he had a lot of money. And he was 80 years old, he was in a dying bed, he was not married. So one of the friend went and talked to him, asked him, you had a good job, you had all the money, you got 2-3 houses, why you are not married? Are you don't want to get married or what? He said, no, I wanted to get married. So why you didn't marry? He said, no, I was looking for a perfect girl, for me. So he said, out of billions of girls around the world, you don't tell me you did not find one perfect one for you. He said, no, finally I found one, very perfect for me. And then I went and approached the girl. I told her, that I'm looking for a perfect one and you are the perfect one and I want to marry you. And she rejected. Why? Because she said, I'm also looking for a perfect man, but you are not perfect for me. See, the problem is that we want everything, very beautiful, very educated, very cultured, very obedient, very loving. They are not Krishna, Aishwarishya, Samagrasya, Viryasya. Krishna got all these opulences in full. But you are full, you don't have any of these things. No, so, but somewhere or other, so now you pay the price, See, that life has become, very, very difficult. So people are frightened for everything, Yeah, Prabhuji. You're not married, yeah. How old are you now? Oh, you're in the prime age to get married. Prabhupada says, after 31, you forget about your marriage life. So at 25, so you decide and marry and then, help the organization with your wife. That's it, finish. Don't worry about other things. Well, you want to get married, you want me to explain to you? Okay, the purpose of marriage is that one of the Alvar, he says, Tuppudayare Adevadallam Sorvidettatune Purivar, and he says that marriage life is the most difficult journey of life. It's not like a bachelor life, bachelor, whether you food or no food or anything is within you. He said married life is a very difficult life. Still the parents, they know, the parents who are married, they know it's a very difficult life, but still the parents wants the children to get married. Why? Because the time will come in your life, you need another person's help. You'll become tired of life. You may become invalid, You cannot take care of yourself by yourself, So you need somebody's help in time to come. So they always say that, at least you got a partner, somebody with you who can help you in the time of need. For that reason, to help each other, the goal we already know, the goal is dharma, hartha, kama, moksha, to revive your Krishna consciousness. Within that, you have your economic development, sense gratification, everything you have that, Like Krishna says in the chapter 7:11, balam balavantam tam, kama raga vivarjita, dharma virodha bhute. So he's not going against the principle of dharma. The desire, Krishna says, comes from him himself. Nothing wrong about getting married. But the marriage life is to help each other to attain the goal of life, not to dominate each other. But the problem here is that we are trying to control and dominate, and trying to show that, who could be more better than whom, It's a great competition is happening. Somewhere or other is not working out well, So the marriage life is meant to help each other. Prabhupada, there was a couple married that, Mataji wrote a letter to Srila Prabhupada, I'm married now, I do not know what is, how I should go about it. Prabhupada says, your husband is the right hand, you are left hand. The body hold right hand and left hand. Prabhupada, similar way, you are here, your wife is here, and Krishna is just a body like a center. You let go of the body, both hands, doesn't, stay longer anymore. So the body holds the both hands. Similarly, Krishna holds your marriage life. So you must put Krishna in the center of your life. It's not meant for anything else, simply to revive your Krishna consciousness. So you married, you got a wife to help you, and you want additional help, you get a few different babies, additional help for you. But everything become problem for you because you both become a problem, your additional become problem, and your mother-in-law, family, everybody become problem around now. Help each other. Yeah, Prabhuji. Yeah. Yeah. Well, only the prajalpa comes in when you don't have, so much of Krishna Katha to speak. You only speak what you know the better. Srutandriyani samyamya, he says that, people speak so much of nonsense because they don't have a spiritual information within themselves. You speak what you know, so you're talking nonsense because that's what you know. If you know so much about Krishna, you'll speak about Krishna, you'll speak what you know better. But still, talking prajalpa within, your devotee circle is better than you're talking with the karmi circle, of hoping that somewhere or other, in the association of a devotee, you may become, little by little become purified and you go more better, knowledge of Krishna consciousness. You cannot, overcome any problem by being like that. In the chapter 259, Krishna says, Visaya vinivartante niraharasya dehina rasovarjam rasopyaso param drisvaniva. Once you attain the higher taste, you automatically give up the lower taste. So you have to read more Prabhupada books, you have to sharpen your intelligence. Knowledge is the greatest weapon to overcome any problem of life. That's what Prabhupada has written so many books. Prabhupada said, although the prime practice of religion in Kali Yuga only chanting, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, he never go and talk philosophy to anybody and everybody. He spoke very, very little philosophy, only to person very confidential like Ramananda Roy, Swarup Damodar Swami. Mahaprabhu spoke philosophy only to very few. But majority, maximum, Mahaprabhu told everybody to chant Hare Krishna. That's it, So, but yet, Prabhupada writes so many books. Prabhupada says, that, knowledge is the greatest weapon in your life. It will help you. Yada Dambir, in the 3rd chapter, Krishna says that, just like the fire, it burns the wood into ashes. Similarly, the knowledge, transcendental knowledge will burn all your karmic reaction. So they talk because, okay, no problem, they're trying. You see, we do not expect everybody to be a pure devotee here. His knowledge is not to make everybody pure devotee here. The leaders, they should become a pure devotee. Yet acharati sreta tattat ivattarajana. Krishna says, name partasi kaustanyam trisulokena kinchana. The chapter 3, text 22. Krishna said, there is no requirement for me, within these 3 worlds, but yet I'm coming to the world to teach people. If I do not, teach them, how to live by dharma, I'll be the destroyer of the world. So Krishna becomes an example. So, in the similar way, the leaders are expected to be pure, not, ordinary members here. The leaders should keep the organization going very nicely by their own purity. The others just follow them, just assist their work, that's it, nothing else. That's why Krishna said, Guru nasashat, swajana nashat, pitana. One should not become a guru, one should not become a teacher, one should not become a husband or wife, father or wife, one should not become a demigod. If they are not able to deliver the dependence from the clutches of birth and death. So the leaders should always keep purity in themselves. The problem in the world is that the leaders, they want the people to follow, but they don't want to follow. This is the problem.
This, one should not become a leader or carry the cannot deliver one's independence.
Yeah.
That sometimes is difficult.
Mm.
Like if you have children as a parent, you do your best.
Yeah.
So they become Krishna conscious. But they have no talent.
Yeah.
Even Krishna Prabhupada's children didn't
Yeah,
have
yeah.
talent for that.
Yet Krishna wants you to perform your duty. In the chapter 2, text 31, Krishna says, Sreyan Swadharma Vigunan Parodharma. He says, you do your Swadharma. He says that, if you do not do Akritim Chapi, he said, if you are not doing your dharma, people will talk bad about you. A person who has been, honored, dishonest is worse than death. When Krishna went to Hastinapur to advise Duryodhan, he went to somewhere or other, Krishna wants to make sure that Duryodhan been advised to return whatever belongs to the Pandavas. So when Krishna wanted to go and talk, Vidura told Krishna, my dear Krishna, why you wanted to go and waste time with Duryodhan? He's not even respecting his own parents, not even listening to his own parents. How is going to listen to you? Why you wanted to advise him? Krishna says, it is my duty to do. Whether he takes my advice or do not take advice is a secondary subject matter. If I do not advise him, later on the world will say, he says, if I do not advise Duryodhan, later on the world will say, Krishna was there, why Krishna did not advise Duryodhan to do what to do? Whether your children follow or don't follow is a secondary subject matter. But as a parents, you're duty bound to advise your children what they have to do. There are 5 things, the parents should tell to their children, very important thing. Up to the 5 years old, you don't, even playfully, you don't beat your children. You give all the love for your children up to 5 years old. After 5 years old, you take a stick and they get them sit down. Of course, today they may go to police, even 5 years old, you're put in the prison. But, I'm just telling you what happens the Vedic time. So you get them sit down. He said, my dear children, there are 5 important things in life. One is, money. Second is, elders. Third are the relatives. Fourth is your habit. Fifth is education. You tell the children, you can let go the money, you can let go the elders, you can let go the relative, you can let go the habits, but you can never let go education. From the 5 years onward, you have to run behind them. Only one thing, study, 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 study. If the children are properly educated, the money will come look for them, the elders will come look for them, the relative will come and look, their habit also will come for good. So knowledge, education is the prime important thing to the children. When your children come to the age of 16 years old, those days, nowadays, even 11, 12 years old, they're already more matured, When they're at age, you have to get them down, you tell them there are 8 kinds of marriages are there. 8 kinds of marriage. Marriage, yeah. One is Brahma Vivaha, Daiva Vivaha, Arsa Vivaha, Prajapati Vivaha, Asura Vivaha, Gandharva Vivaha, Rakshasa Vivaha, Pisasha Vivaha. Pisasha Vivaha is ghostly marriage, So now you have to tell them there are 4 marriages recommended in the religion, in Krishna consciousness. That totally arranged by the elders. So number 1 is that Brahma Vivaha, that you give your daughter to somebody who has gone to Gurukul and properly studied, about, body and, the soul, and able to control their senses, they live by the way of dharma. So you get your daughter to marry to a brahmachari who has come out from the Gurukul studies. Number 2, by that marriage, with the properly educated brahmachari with your girl, when the child produced from that marriage, it can deliver 21 generation of forefathers. Now the second marriage is called Arsa. Daiva is that between the devotee parents, their children are getting married. Devotee's son, devotee's daughter getting married, that is called Daiva Vivaha. The child produced from that marriage, it can deliver, 15 generation of forefathers. The third one is called, Arsa marriage. The marriage, been done, and they donate, a cow and bull for them to go and survive, farming or whatever. That the child produced from that marriage, it can deliver 13 generation of forefathers. The fourth one is called, Prajapatya. No, any dowry is given. Only by giving some mantra blessing, the child born from that marriage, can deliver 7 generations of forefather. The 4 marriages, I know, they are recommended in the scripture. For that 4 marriages, you go and, find a beautiful place, hall, you print the wedding card, you bring the big musician, you invite as many people as you can and conduct the wedding in a very, big ways, you can spend the money. Because that is going to help, the forefathers. The other four marriages are there. It's called asura. There is, somebody sell your daughters for money, dowry, It happens, in the third world country, most of the time. And number 2 is that, a girlfriend, boyfriend things, You see, in our religion, we call marriage is the, kanya dhan. That you give your girl as a charity to a man who is, incapable of taking care of himself. See, in the Hindu family, normally, your son, going out of the house, coming back late, is too independent, don't know how to keep his own room clean, this and that, and is very irresponsible. And they will talk, better get him married, he'll become responsible. So they go, find some girl who can, make him proper in his life, like a charity given to, to correct this guy, So it is, you cannot give a charity, used product you cannot give as a charity, rotten product you cannot give as a charity. So the girlfriend, boyfriend play, normally, damage on the way, then, sometimes they split and then she go and marry another girl, another boy, another girl, so messed up the whole thing. So the Gandharva marriage is not recommended. The third one is called Rakshasa, that by force, the girl not interested to marrying the guy, but by force it got married. And the fourth one is called Pisasha marriage. Pisasha marriage is that somewhere or other, they meet in the Facebook, they become a friend. But from the very beginning, the boy is not interested to marry the girl, but somewhere or other you want to use the girl, and somewhere or other they meet, and then then he use the girl, she become pregnant, and she tell the boy, I'm pregnant now, And they met in Frankfurt, their family in Frankfurt, and the girl, become pregnant. The moment the girl tells the boy, I'm pregnant, and the boy run to Berlin, go and hide in Berlin. Nobody knows where this boy is gone, like a ghost disappear, And somebody in Berlin, they tell, oh, I know this boy who has been hanging around with your girl is in Berlin now. So they from Frankfurt, they go to Berlin, get the boy, beat him up, and come, and then they said, marry my girl now. That's a ghost marriage, So you have to educate them. These are the marriages. My dear children, I know you, up to you, want to follow or don't want to follow, but it's my duty to educate you. Follow, don't follow is your problem. You carry the responsibility. Only up to the age of 5 years old, the children don't have karma. Because of the children, parents don't have karma also. From the 5 years old up to the 12 years old, whatever the children do, the karma goes to the parents. From 12 years old and above, whatever the children do, the karma bad by themselves. Parents do not suffer for their karma. So it's our duty to educate them, that's it. Whether they follow, don't follow, is up to them. And everybody follow in German the 8 marriages, or? Yeah? What is that? Yeah. Yeah, it's normal, we are just saying that you get some idea how these things are arranged, What is the actual problem today, Because either you're meeting somebody out of lust, out of love, they have to be very careful. Otherwise, in due course of time, the momentum is not going to be there. They do not know how even to keep the momentum going very properly. See, in the marriage life, the husband should give, every day he should give a gift to his wife. To keep her in the momentum, At least, he should, of course the ladies sometimes they may ask, so many jewelries, expensive one. It's not like that, what you can afford. Okay, now you think, your wife, she likes mango from Pakistan, And now the Pakistan mango is available in your place. So you are too busy with your work, but you saw the Pakistan mango, you remembered about your wife, and you stop your car, go and buy and go and give it to your wife. Today I was very busy in traffic jam, no place to park the car, but I thought of you. I know that you like the Pakistan mango. For you, I went and bought the Pakistan mango. It's a very small thing, but she's very happy. My husband, thought of me. You have to keep the momentum going. So, it's not about taking and taking and taking. It should be giving, giving and giving. So Prabhupada said the woman should know three things better, smile, keep the house clean and cook very nicely. So your husband cannot run away. See, it's all very simple. We are complicating everything due to selfish interest. ISKCON marriage? Yeah.
The parents may not be present for the Vivaya.
Yeah. I don't know really how it works in ISKCON, because I don't know. But we see like everybody's a devotee, for us like spiritual things are happening. So we don't really worry, Of course, in the outside marriage, we notice what's happening, how people are looking, what's happening, we know where the shortcomings. But the devoted marriage, you see everybody laughing and happy, everybody chanting Hare Krishna. The whole marriage, duration of marriage time, only kirtan is going on. So we think all spiritual, so we don't think anything else. Anything else? Yeah, you are married or not? How old are you now? Oh, you're all very young,
You said that marriage is to help each other.
To help each other.
The main thing. My question is, just to help each other, why you need the opposite sex? You can help each other.
So there is Alvar, he says in his prayer, he says this thing. He says the marriage is to help each other. And he says that, my dear Lord, I don't believe in that statement, that somebody will help me in my life. But I believe you will be more than anybody else. Because when the Gajendra, the elephant, was fighting with the crocodile, the moment the Gajendra called for you, the elephant called for you, he came down to help. By the call of the elephant you have come. Why you don't come when I call? So I trust you more than anybody else in the world. So I take you as my companion. So it's up to you.
The question is, to help each other, why do you need woman? You can help each other with friends.
Oh, now all agree. Man can get married. That's also possible.
Not get married.
You see, there is attraction. There's an eternal attraction between man and female in the world. There are two different, gravity has been brought into the world to help each other. The man has got a different, heart altogether. The woman has got different. It's called two kinds of heart is there. One is called komalam, another one is karkasa. The man one is very hard. The woman one is very soft. And to help in your life, not only just you have to understand in why you have to get married. The reason is that you have to produce children who have to carry out some of the duty. Even when you die, you have to have a children to perform some duty in the last rites. And for your upliftment, going to the higher planets, you need to do these rites by the children. A woman can produce a nice children for you. A man cannot produce, so you have no benefit by going into the man's side, because the marriage life is meant to revive your Krishna consciousness. There are 16 purification processes given, and to accomplish that 16 purification process, you need a woman in your life. You see, let's say you are doing a deity worship in your. Let's say you got Gornitai. Okay. Now you die ready. What happens to Gornitai? Let's say nobody taking your deity. It's become a problem, there are people, there are nowadays a lot of devotees very scared to take the deity in the house because they see that the children are not going to carry on of, all this puja and all. What happens, nobody taking your deity, what happened to you?
I'm not sure if there is bigger chance that your son will take care.
Same?
If nobody wants to take care, maybe your children will also don't want to take care.
No. You see, that is the thing that, nobody can take care of the deity better than you. You give it to anybody else. Now, that continuation of the Archa Vigraha, Krishna comes in a 5 different way. One is called Param, second is called Padam, third is called, Vyabham, fourth is called Antaryami, sixth called Archa Vigraha is the deity form. Krishna comes as in the deity form for the betterment, benefit of the human society. Now that continuation should go on. It's a continuation because not everybody going to think the same way you are thinking. There's a need in the human body, to have little bit of, sense enjoyment. So it has been, women and men been brought, to fulfill the need, bodily need, Not everybody is very, totally their control of their senses. There no need, any bodily, need to be taken care in their life. So it's not to be there. And Krishna wants, the continuation of the progeny in the world so that his pastime moves on, For that reason, these two parties are brought together. Now after you, that, your family members will follow up where you left, And they are there, but let's say you're going to work, so the wife is there, then they cook the food, they offer to Krishna, your house has become a temple. So your duty, half of your 50% of your duty in spiritual life is taken by your wife already. So in a way, unless you're 24 years old, and later on when you grow, then you will know the implication in bachelor life, the implication in married life, the importance of, putting yourself in one ashram, because this 4 ashramam is created by Krishna himself. So it has to be all the time there. So there is brahmachari ashram, there is grihastha ashram, vanaprastha, sannyas. There is no bachelor daddy ashram in ISKCON. There are people who have become a bachelor daddy. Prabhupada say externally they look bachelor, they are not married. But in their mind they are going through all the married life. You understand? That means you don't want to be a brahmachari on this side, thinking is a big responsibility. You don't want to be a grihastha on the other side, thinking is a big responsibility. So you, in between, you remain without any ashram. It's like, temple. It's a spiritual, platform for you. So now you have to decide. You don't want to become a grihastha, then you should join the temple, become brahmachari. But if you wanted to avoid, responsibility of this both life, you're not even a human being, because human being should be in the varnashram system. There are many, devotees, children I see around the world, they're 35, 36, 38. Ask them, they don't know, they don't want to get married, this and that. You don't want to get married, why you want to make and work and make money for what? You're not interested in sense gratification, you're not interested in anything, why you want to make money? So join the temple and help Krishna consciousness. So somewhere you have to situate yourself in a proper ashram. So you want to be with the boyfriends, friends among the boys, that is okay. You join the brahmachari ashram. There is no outside of these 4 ashram in the world. So you have to go take a responsible life, otherwise you have to come back again to the world. There is no bachelor daddy ashram in ISKCON.
Unfortunately, there is.
That you create because you don't respect Krishna. You think you know better. That people are creating because they are useless. They do not know. It's a responsible way of living. You become a brahmachari responsible, you imbibe the knowledge, impart the knowledge to the people, that's your brahmachari ashram. Take a grihastha ashram, help each other, become more Krishna conscious. You produce Krishna conscious children, they can carry on, the work of Krishna in time to come. So either way, you must, take, responsibility of any of this ashram. And you cannot, try to avoid, responsibility, thinking that it's troublesome in your life. Brahmachari is a troublesome life. Grihastha is a troublesome life. Nothing. Sannyasi is a troublesome life. Prabhupada said story about, the laddu in Delhi, Prabhupada said a man went to a laddu shop, they sell the laddu, sweet, very nice laddu, all the laddu, they made, very pure ghee and everything. So, one fellow went and ate the laddu, then he enjoyed the laddu, then he ate as much as he can. After that, he packed some laddu, then he was going back to his own country, and then he came back, he ate the laddu, whatever leftover laddu. So he really enjoyed eating the laddu. And always he was thinking, if I go back to Delhi again, I want to go into the shop and buy the laddu. So he went to a workplace, he told his friend, if you go to India, you must go to Delhi, there's a shop, laddu shop, you must go and buy this laddu, it's the most best laddu in the world. I ate so much, enjoyed, I'm eagerly waiting to go back to it. The friend heard this thing, you already meditating, if I go to Delhi, I must go to the shop. Prabhupada said, fellow who eaten the laddu also not satisfied, the fellow is not eaten also not satisfied. Whether you're brahmacharya, grihastha, you're not going to be happy in the material world, because material world is not meant for the intelligent people. You have to go back to Krishna. So either way you're going to be unhappy and dissatisfied in your life. So either you become a brahmachari or become a grihastha, then move on with your life, with a great responsibility. In a brahmacharya ashram, the ashram will correct all your mistake. In your family life, the wife will correct you all your mistake. If you don't listen to your wife, your children will correct you. Somebody will correct you, your way of life. Somebody has to be there to correct you. That is why we are here, why we are in the association of devotees. Somebody can correct whether, are we doing spiritual life properly or not. So it's an assistance and help. We should not see, marriage life is a burden. Brahmachari life is a burden. Whichever way you can connect yourself, whichever way you're comfortable. You think you can be more happy in a brahmachari ashram, remain brahmachari. If you think, no, I need another person's help, so you go and get married. Nothing is against Krishna consciousness. Comfortably you should practice Krishna consciousness. Not simply to avoid, the responsibility, thinking that it's troublesome. It's in the mode of passionate, simply, avoiding responsibility, Okay? Yeah, what you're doing? Yeah, you're staying in the ashram or what you're doing? Okay, very good. You're meant to get married, you'll get married. Yeah, there are people who don't want to get married, they marry. There are people who really want to get married, they never got married. It's not what you decide. You just follow from your destiny, from your previous life karma. And somebody asked me, Maharaj, how you remain brahmachari? I said, I never thought about marriage life. The easiest thing with me is that no girls came and proposed to me that they want to get married to me. So I didn't have any of this problem because no girls tell me, when I was brahmachari, I like you, I want to marry you. So it didn't become a problem to me about thinking about this thing. Nobody proposed to me. And I was too busy, book distribution, traveling, no time to think because we go morning 9 o'clock, come back 10 o'clock night, you're tired, eat and sleep. It went on for next, 20, 30 years. By the time we turn around and see, we're already 50 over years old. Well, the time to get married. So that is how we never thought, we wanted to remain brahmachari. We never thought we want to take sannyas, We never thought any of these things. We've forgotten about any of these things because we're too busy, doing. One of the reporters asked Prabhupada, Swamiji, have you got lusty desire? Prabhupada said, yes, I got lusty desire, but I have no time for it. You're too busy, never think about anything. You know? And I had a good mother. My mother told me never get married. You know? Yeah, you know. But that is your destiny, you know. We never planned to become a devotee, you know. I never planned to become a devotee, but when 20 years old, I came and joined the movement. You know, I never thought, I'm going to come around, I'm going to go to Australia, New Zealand, here and there, always traveling. Only 1 month I stayed in Malaysia. I never thought, I personally, I built about 3-4 temples, before coming here. I built, on education, and I never thought I can do any of these things. I do not know what, you are not in control, Your life is taken for a ride by Krishna, that's it. By the time you turn back and see, you already got grey hair, You're already getting old. And you have no option now, you have to stay with ISKCON. Because you don't have any option. Now you go, my parents have died and gone already, so I cannot go to my sister's house and brother's house. I don't have any connection for more than 40 years with them, So I cannot go back to them. I cannot go and get a job. I don't even have any certificate, anything. 40 years, I've forgotten about everything. All I know is that ISKCON and the devotees and the temple. So if ISKCON kick me out, I have no place. I don't know what I'll do in my life. So better stick with ISKCON, very friendly way, whatever you can be with them, just be with them. Die and go, that's it, Don't worry about other things. Important, you are happy. That's very important thing. My mother told me, you are the happiest son in the family. When I joined the ISKCON movement when I was 20 years old, now I'm 63 years old, I joined, and I was very thin, I was only about, 42 kilo when I joined ISKCON, And after 2 years I went to, after 1 year I went to Australia and New Zealand. I stayed there for 2-3 years. And within the 2-3 years, I put on about, 70 kilo. Because, there's the best key, You find the best prasadam in the Western world, in the European world, European countries. Because everything they use with ghee, they fry everything with ghee, papadam, everything is ghee, everything is very pure. And they are cooking a better, more tastier than, what we cook in the Asian country. So I was in Australia, New Zealand, with the white devotees, And they cook the best prasadam, so I was eating so much. I go out for preaching, I come back, 11 o'clock night, and the devotee will keep a big, plate of Mahaprasadam, the last, offering. And I come back 11 o'clock night, I see halwa, so much, puri. So I eat everything, I just sleep. So within 3 years, I put on about, 30 kilo. I came back to see my mother couldn't recognize me, My mother said, you went to Hare Krishna like that, now you come back like that. She said, that is the best thing has happened to you, And my mother said, all your sister, brother, all are married. Whenever they call, only they tell me about their problem. Mummy, problem. You're the only son, when he call, he say, chant and be happy, chant and be happy, chant and be happy, So like that, we are happy, This is our family, this is our friends. So we do the best, for Prabhupada movement, We got a very, little bit time left, The astrologer told me I'll leave the world 82 years old. So I got another 19 years to go. Out of that, I may have another 10 years, valid, move around. So after that, I won't be, able to do much. So I decided, to go and settle down in Vrindavan when I'm 73 years old and become absorbed in Krishna and leave the body in Vrindavan. That's my plan. You got your plan, Krishna has got his plan. So like that, we got a very short time to go about it, and we want to give the best for Krishna at this time. So that's the thing. Yeah. There's no problem in any way, When Prabhupada was with the devotee was telling Prabhupada, so many problems. Prabhupada said, I don't see any problem. Where's the problem? No, Prabhupada, there are so many problems. Prabhupada said, you are the problem. What is the difficulty? You know, you know. You see, nobody depends on you in the world. ISKCON don't depend on you. You know, you go away, ISKCON will function by itself, don't worry. You know, so we all depend on Krishna. And ISKCON is a very beautiful platform, honest, platform for you to re-establish your Krishna consciousness. So it's your life, your journey. It's nothing to do with anything around. Whatever you do is going to benefit you, not the society. Society benefits by, the pure devotee, by Prabhupada, present in the organization. So we are here to, enhance, our wonderful qualities within us. So you shouldn't see anything like a troublesome. You see it as an opportunity, If you know the purpose of what you're doing, you'll enjoy what you're doing. So we'll stop here. Okay, thank you so much for being here today. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaura Pramanande.